when I achieved the program, they have, as they do in most rehabs, families can attend it or what have you, and then you speak to the audience and the counselors, and you usually, if you're a humble person, thank the rehab for helping them get your life back together, blah, blah, blah. And in my alcohol, I still had all my stuff, the cars, the house, the wife, the kids. I still thought very highly of myself because I was a big shot or a legend in my own mind. And I thanked the insurance company for paying the bill, and I couldn't get out of there quick enough. 90 days later or less, I found myself in the Montauk Hotel coming out of a blackout, and I was like right back to where I started. And I was a mess. And my wife and I had decided, or she had decided, that it would be better that I wasn't involved anymore. And in my anger, because I blamed all of this on her and the kids and the horse and the dog and the father and the train and whatever else I could blame it on, I decided I wouldn't work anymore. So I never went to work, you know. And for a year or two, I closed a reasonably large business and never showed up for any court proceedings. And so I wound up going from some sense of affluence to despair. And when I got out of rehab, it was in 1990, I think it was in October of 1990. From 1990 to 1996, I went from drinking a few martinis on the way home every night to a quart and a half of vodka every day. For the next 5 or 6 years, I drank until I blacked out. And when I woke up, I drank a little bit because I didn't want to be too alcoholic, just to take the shakes away. And I had moved in with this girl that at one time waited my tables at the bar that I was in when I was married, and I kind of made sure she made enough money to supply me with vodka. And at that time, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. All I had was this great thing that I thought, this great person who I thought I was in my head. And I always had these still grandiose ideas about how I was going to put my life together. I lived with that woman for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And by the time those 2 years went by, I don't know why I didn't get arrested. I mean, I had driven so many times under the influence, and I could have hurt a lot of people outside of just hurting myself and my own family. And it just wasn't in my story at that time, so I guess it didn't happen for a reason. But the police came looking for me because now, instead of me having all this stuff, I never showed up for court, and I wound up having some legal issues that I was afraid to address. And that's really what it's all about. I had become, or I realize now, probably all through my life, I was always afraid of facing things, and it was easier to drink and laugh it off than it was to face real issues. And when those issues came, and the police came, and there was 8, 10, 12 of them, I don't know how many there were, I didn't answer the door and escaped, and they call it a geographic change. I moved as far as I could move at that point in my life, which was about 30 miles, because that's as much as I could keep my thoughts together. And I moved into a small apartment in the same girl's mother's house. When I went to this place in Long Island, I was told that if I didn't drink for 90 days and I went to a meeting, my life would get better in spite of me. So I says, well, I'm not going to do the meetings, but at least I'll stop drinking. So for 90 days or so, or 60 days or so, I stopped drinking and put ads in the papers to get my feet back on the ground because I wasn't working. And I still had these beliefs that I was going to make tons of money, pay everybody off, come back home on this big white horse, and everything would change. But, you know, nothing changes if nothing changes. So I went to the point where I got business together. I actually got business, as dysfunctional as I was. I had no driver's license. I was living with an alias. I had a car with somebody else's plates on it. And, you know, it was just nuts. And I want to also say, I want to address something too. I'm with 5 other alcoholics, and we've been here all day, and they're outside laughing. So if you hear laughter, that's the aftermath of getting sober. So that's exactly what's in my life today. There's happiness in my life, and that's what you might hear in the background, is just that, people enjoying their life and laughing from the gut, something I didn't do for 20 years. So I'd love to hear it, and I hope that it comes through on the tape. But getting back to where I went into the city. I started working. I got a business. The Grand Poupard was back on his feet, and I didn't know where to get help because now I needed laborers to help. And I don't know how to bowl. I didn't know how to I didn't know how to go to church and meet people. I didn't have any social skills outside of drinking and making money. So I went down to the bar, And I went there for the intention of going every day until I made a support group that I could find help with. And I stayed there every day for quite some time. I didn't drink. And one day the barmaid was either putting some kind of pass on me, or at least I perceived it to be a pass. And she said, "Come on, I'll buy you a drink." And I was in the lion's den and I drank.